All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I am Mike Thomas, indeed, and we're gonna do a little weather here today, just like we did yesterday and the day before that. Nah, the day before that was Sunday. But before we do the weather, and it's gonna take me a second to cue it up here, but I gotta give a shout out. I got sent out on a story today, and kid was absolutely incredible. The guy's name is Tomas. I get his name right. Tomas Mink is the guy's name. Only 12 years old. He was a state champion at age 7, I believe. He's state at age 7, regional at age 9, national champion at age 11. Now he's going to the World Games. Amazing, amazing gymnast, and he specializes in the trampoline, specifically the double trampoline, which is something I've never heard of. I grew up around gymnastics. My sister was a elite in her own right. She's now Dr. Thomas. This was many years ago, but she was a level 10 floor gymnast here in Maryland, and I spent a lot of time because when we were kids, you know, my parents would drag me to her practices, so I spent a lot of time in the gym, kind of watching and learning. Was never very good myself, but this kid's absolutely incredible. So let me cue up his Instagram, just because I gotta give him a shout out. He's that amazing. So his Instagram is, and let me flip it over here. His Instagram is Tomas M Flips. This is, and I mean, let me click one on, and you can just kind of see what this kid's all about here. Let's see if I can. Look at that! Come on. You know anybody that can do that? I don't know anybody that can do that. That kid, and I am saying kid appropriately, he's 12 years old, although he did mention his birthday is next month, so a happy early birthday to you, Tomas. Good luck at the World Games next month. He's got to go GoFundMe up if anybody wants to help him, help support his journey over to Bulgaria for the World Games. But 12 years old, doing stuff like that, can't even imagine. Even in my prime lacrosse days, I'm not even anywhere close to doing anything like he's doing. So incredible guy. I wish him the best of luck at the Worlds. It was an honor to meet him. Pleasure to meet his coach today over at Dynamite Gymnastics in North Bethesda. We had a great time. And again, I wish him the best of luck. All right, let me get to what I do best here, which is weather time. Not too much to talk about, if I'm being honest, here in DC. You guys kind of know that it's quiet outside. We don't have much going on. Let's get straight to it. Biggest story of the day, if it's a story at all, is that we had our coldest morning here since, well, you can see it right there on the iNet. Well, you guys don't know what the iNet is. 46 degrees, your low temp there in DC. But look at Dulles was at 30s. Basically, all these areas north of this line, Culpeper was, Manassas is like here. They were, all these areas out here were in the 30s, and you had locations. I know I got tweets from Hagerstown. I got tweets from kind of this neck of the woods that they had a lot of frost out there this morning. So first frost of the year for them. I didn't see any locally. I live kind of up in this area where the blue dot is. Here in DC, we were a little too warm thanks to the river. It's the river keeping us warm here locally for any frost. But we'll get there eventually. First frost typical as we head into November. Late October, early November. We're getting there. Slow and steady wins the race. You don't want to, people who are snow lovers out there, you do not want to rush winter. If you rush winter too much and we get snow early, think 2010. We had snow, I believe, just before or right around Halloween 2010, then no winter at all after that. You don't want that. Don't rush winter. Winter will get here when it does. Again, last time we were this cold, I kind of just brought up the search results here. Last time we were this cold was May 9th, 2017. We were 46 degrees, I believe, so we kind of tied what we did. So it's been several months. I'll move that over a little bit. National Weather Service site there. It's been months since we've been that cold. Also, I want to give out shout-outs to all the websites I use, weather.us, because you guys can visit these too if you want to and you see it at home. This is how I get all my data. You just kind of got to mess around and know how to use the sites. It gets pretty. They can be a little tricky at first, but the more you use them, the better you get out of it. All right, let me spin things back here, and let's move on to what's going on out there right now. This is infrared satellite, and I have to use the infrared satellite because the sun is not fully up across the United States. If we go over the visible, I'll try it. But yeah, so you're starting to see a little bit of it. But the basic point of this is that, I mean, look, you're getting a little bit of cloud cover there in the interior southwest, but generally speaking, this is all clear. And let's watch my bad handwriting with the mouse. Clear! Exclamation point. Smiley face. Clear skies. We have no weather. It's super quiet across in just about the entire United States. Remember, generally speaking, not always. Sometimes we get things that move down out of the south here, but generally speaking, weather in the U.S. moves west to east. And with nothing out west coming our way, we're in for a super quiet time here on most of the East Coast, with, of course, the exception being this neck of the woods in Florida, which always has little pop-ups. They're still dealing with the frontal system that came through here yesterday. So they're going to have a rainy, kind of stormy day here during the day today. Moving on to why it's this area right here, high pressure, just sitting over West Virginia this morning, and it's strong and it's large. Its influence, I mean, if we're tracing lines here, this area high pressure goes from Texas all the way up through the Midwest, across the Great Lakes and up. It's big, it's strong, and it's keeping things quiet. So weather worry-wise, aside from the fact that it has Arctic origins, meaning it came from up there and it moved south and east into our area. That's why it's a cold area, high pressure. But generally speaking, it's cold, it's heavy, and it's keeping things quiet. Later on this week, we're going to have another area high pressure that kind of develops down towards Texas and moves up. And that's going to warm us up a bit, not too much, not like the summertime, but it will help warm things up just a little bit. And I have a couple concerns with clouds as we get towards the weekend. I'll mention that in just a second. Other story we tracked yesterday was the tropics. Not really a concern this morning. They weren't a huge concern yesterday, but they're far from it. Let me change my color here so everybody can see. It's hard to pinpoint exactly where you almost have kind of two centers. You got one kind of down there, and then you have another area spin right here. The area of, or the island of Bermuda is somewhere right where that dot is. So they're getting some storms and some rain certainly on and off today. But this frontal system that's come in straight across the U.S. yesterday, moved through D.C. yesterday morning, brought some showers. It's that cold front right there. That's and the winds out ahead of it really increasing out of the south and out of the west that have kind of grabbed whatever was left of this tropical system right here and just kind of stretched it out, and it is basically starting to pull it apart. So it's still a tropical wave. They don't expect it to develop, and I don't have any models now developing it into anything. National Hurricane Center says no worries. No tropical cyclones expected here. No tropical cyclones expected anywhere in the next 5 days. So this is nice to see. Again, there's only been a few times in the last 2 months that we've had a nice quiet time. And yes, while there is some thunderstorms activity in Florida and while there's some in the Gulf right now, nothing's organized enough for tropical development here in the next 5 days at least. So that's at least good to see. We will have to watch one area next week, and I'll mention that in just a second here. Let's get to the modeling. Here's the latest European. For any wondering, just track how quiet. And let me circle for those wondering in the D.C. region. I will put us in this little blue box. So this is Maryland, Virginia, Mid-Atlantic region right there in the blue box. And you can kind of track it as we go through here. Let's see. I messed it up. See, I'm good at messing things up. There's the box. So we're right kind of in the center of that box. No, it worked yesterday. It's not working for me today. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right, there we go. So we're right in the center of that blue box there. We're going through Wednesday. Look how quiet it is. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're now getting into Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday, and now Monday. Monday afternoon, evening, really kind of late Monday into Tuesday. Looks like our next chance for rain. It's really blowing it up into some heavy rain because it dips the jet stream really far. These are winds 500 millibars above our head. That's the jet stream. Look at how far down south it's dipping this jet stream as we get into early next week. And basically what it's doing is it's grabbing some tropical moisture and it's throwing it up. And when that happens, yeah, we get heavy rain around here. Problem is, I don't think that's a little extreme for a jet stream drop for this time of year. We get those during the late fall and winter, but I'm thinking it's a little bit more shallow of a drop than that. So we're probably not looking at heavy rain. Is it a threat? Absolutely. But I think it's more of sort of what we saw on Monday, where we have some rain coming through Monday night into Tuesday, but nothing at this point that concerns me in any way. Could it be on the heavy side? We'll see. One area that we'll have to watch in the 7-day, and let me show you what our current 7-day looks like so you'll understand kind of what I'm going. There's the 7-day forecast. Let me take my ugly head out of the way. And whoop, whoop, there we go. One thing that does kind of concern me that we have to watch for on the 7-day has to do with Saturday and Sunday. Not rain, but just less sunshine than expected. So we're really confident on the next 4 days here. Plenty of sunshine. You saw it just when we went through the models. I mean, there's really no concern. So it's hard to have any at all for the next 4 days. It should be sunny, bright, and beautiful with just the occasional cloud passing by. 70s are back tomorrow for some. Most will stay in the 60s all day. Thursday, Friday, 70s back for most. It's pleasantly cool mornings, not as cold as this morning because high pressure won't be sitting on top of us, but pleasantly cool mornings coming up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then into the weekend as well. We'll keep so that you don't have to kick the heat on, and not the heat, but you don't have to kick the AC back on, is what I'm saying. I'm absolutely ready to be done with the AC, that's for sure. I would like that little break on my bills before the heating demand and the winter cold sets in and I got to turn the electric heat on. That's always when the bills are at their worst. Yeah, so Saturday and Sunday. Right now we have mostly sunny, 77 on Saturday, 78 with just a few clouds on Sunday. One thing we'll have to watch, and I'll explain why here, is the potential for maybe a little bit more cloud cover on Sunday. Here's why. Let's go back. Here, and again, shout out to Storm Vista. I'll try and shout out every website I use just in case you want to find them yourselves at home. Rolling forward here. Here we go into Saturday afternoon. Now, Saturday still looks like a relatively nice day to me. But you are going to have this area of high pressure, and let me clear that off and use blue. It'll be technical here. We show high pressure in blue. You are going to have this area of high pressure slowly sliding off the coastline. It's going to continue to do that throughout the day on Saturday. Let's go out into Sunday. This is now Sunday morning, early morning, 12Z on Sundays, like 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning. So now you have an area of high pressure sitting off the coastline here. That's pulling in an easterly wind, so you're starting to get some of that onshore flow going. At the mid-levels, you got a little, follow kind of this red line here. These are thicknesses. Don't worry about those, what those means, but I'm watching it for kind of mid-level winds. You got a little kink in the atmosphere there. So you got a little, winds kind of doing a little turn thing there, and they're coming out of the west because the farther above your head you go, winds generally move west to east in the northern hemisphere here. So you're getting a little bit of basically, let me clear that off so I don't confuse anybody, but you're basically getting this kind of motion in the atmosphere, and that's going to get you, in my opinion, some clouds. So I'm concerned with where the high pressure is, that maybe there's a little less sunshine second half of Saturday, and maybe we're dealing with more sun or more clouds than sun as you go into Sunday. Here's the latest model on it. This is the European. Again, remember, high pressure kind of sitting right up in this area is what's going to pull on your easterly wind. A lot like what happened last weekend. We could be dealing with some early morning fog potential, but you see the European, and that's Sunday morning there, wants to bring in a decent cloud deck, and then we might have to fight it in the afternoon, a lot like we did this Sunday. We did break out into good sun, but we might have to fight it going into the afternoon, which could help keep things a little bit cooler. A little bit warmer at night, but a little bit cooler during the afternoon. So we'll watch that. It's a threat. It's not a threat to ruin your weekend. It's just if you're planning on sunny and bright all weekend, this is a threat that, hey, maybe we have more clouds than sun. But I don't want it to freak anybody out in case we do have more clouds than sun. So I hope that makes sense to everybody there. Latest just temperatures, again, I mentioned the 7-day. Yeah, we're going to be warming it up pretty good. We go into your afternoon on Wednesday. Again, this model likes upper 60s. These are 2 meter temperatures, which are kind of raw model output. You factor in a couple of other factors like wind direction, how much sunshine we're going to have. We'll go a few degrees above that. We're going 71 tomorrow here in DC instead of the 68 that the model's putting out. No complaints. Full sunshine will help us get a few degrees warmer, and light winds as well. You see that shade of orange there on Friday. We're getting more and more 70s around the region. And then as we head into your day on Saturday, more mid-70s starting to creep up from the south as that area of high pressure comes up. Long term, let's switch now for those who are looking at this for the winter stuff, winter hints. Let's head forward. These are the new European weeklies. They're a day old. I don't show them the day they come out because this stuff costs money, and I don't want to give anything away that, you know, Storm Vista is very good about letting me use their stuff. I don't want to give away the things that cost them money as soon as they come out. Otherwise, they'll yell at me. I'm real good friends with the guys at this company, by the way. This is this week, basically, or into next week, showing all the warmth that's in place coming this weekend. Again, 70s doesn't sound that warm, but for this time of year, we should just be doing upper 60s. So just to get your bearings here, eastern half of the U.S. is kind of right there in that blue circle, and see how we have reds above our head? That's a nice strong ridge in the eastern half of the United States. I'm looking top of the globe down, so North Pole, and that kind of blends in, but North Pole's up in that area, and and we're looking straight down at the globe. There's the North Pole. We're going straight down like this. All right, moving forward. So that's this week. They do this as a weekly average, just to let you know. So this is the model forecast for the end of the month. And we do see, after this, we have that rain coming Monday, Tuesday that we mentioned before. After that, we will get cool again. That's what the model's showing here, is a nice area. That was the right blue. Nice area of cool temps right there along the East Coast. That kind of hangs on until early November, according to the model, like first week of November. But then we'll start, and I believe this will happen too, we'll start moderating things. That's a decent pattern right here. You got to, and for those wondering, we're looking up above our heads. We're looking at 500 millibars. That's what you have to do if you want to forecast extended range. You got to forecast the uppers before you can forecast what's going to happen down low. You got a decent ridge building up into Western Canada. You got a little bit of blocking in the North Atlantic, but it's not up far enough north to be a big-time cold air outbreak, but enough to keep things seasonal to cool. Moving ahead into the middle of November, the pattern looks like it's going to start to break a little bit. That's a cool pattern. This is now middle of November. Look at the dates up top. We now are out to the 13th of November to the 20th of November that week. You do have a nice ridge up into Alaska here, but it's a little far west. You kind of want it to go up, if you want cold air here in D.C., you want it to go up through California, Eastern Canada, wrap through kind of, or Western Canada, wrap through Eastern Alaska. That's where you want the ridge to get the big cold here in D.C. That's a Midwest cold air outbreak more so than us here. You see, we got a little bit of ridging going on off the East Coast. Generally speaking, though, this week could surprise, because you have a lot of blocking over the top. See all the orange and the reds up there? That's displacing some cold Arctic air down southward when it's like that. Now, it doesn't last, because look, we move on into the late November time period. It breaks down a little bit. You lose that ridge up into Alaska, so you're not providing strong cold air. This is kind of what's left over from the week before out there in the Midwest, but you've lost your blocks up here, and if you lose your blocks up there, you're not going to continue the cold air transport, which tells me that we're probably starting November on the cool side. We'll have seasonal conditions through the middle of the month, and then I think the month ends on the warmer side of things, and I think we start December warm too. Speaking of December, let's go into winter, because that's probably what a lot of people are wondering. This is Mary Chen. She is, I believe, Ward District 3. Let me scroll up here. This is her Twitter, Mary Che. Sorry, not Mary Chen, Mary Che. D.C. Councilwoman for Ward number 3 here in D.C. She was at a meeting yesterday talking about snow removal. I know the Capitol Weather Gang, if you know who they are. They go there all the time. So she put out this yesterday for D.C. This was, I know this, she's not a forecaster, so I know these weren't her projections. I believe these were probably going to be the Capitol Weather Gang's projections of what they expect during the winter. And I'm sure they're going to come out with their winter weather outlook sometime in the next couple of months here. I'm trying for mine still next week. I need Tucker back here, honestly. Not for advice, but for time to do it, because things are kind of busy here without him here. I got to, me and Gary are kind of carrying as much of the workload as we can while he's gone. 5 to 6 small snow events is what they're expecting. 4 to 6 inches biggest snow events. Slightly warmer winter, especially December and February. Well, what's up with that? I mean, come on, we're due for a big winter, right? Last winter was bleh. We want a good winter here, but it's the problem is the pattern's not right for it, and I'm leaning in this direction myself. I was even before that came out, but it's always nice to see confidence building among forecasters. I know what the Farmer's Almanac said. I know the Farmer's Almanac said cold and snow-filled. I would not put a lot of faith in that. Could it happen? Sure, it's happened in weak La Ninas before, but here's the average winter temperature for La Nina here in DC, and what most models say. And let me see if I can. Pull up a model. You might just have to trust me on it. Let's see if I can. Let's see. Let's go to Google. I was already at Google, so I just kind of some redundancy there. But let's see. Australia. By the way, I love going to the Australian Weather Service for their. It's like bom.gov.au. They have the best stuff for if you're looking at because again, it's all related to the El Nino and La Nina, all related to the Central Pacific Ocean, and they're right there. So here's a little hint on how you can get to their data. Again, they're inactive right now in the ENSO Outlook, but if we go to where is it? I believe it's right there, El Nino, La Nina. We'll look at outlooks, and then we'll go to the climate model summary, I believe. Models right there. Climate model summary. No, it's not letting me click it. We might have to do a page refresh real quick. I need that models tab right there. It's spinning. Let's give it a second. See if it helps me out. Maybe we froze it. I might have broken it. Anyway, generally speaking, you'll just have to kind of trust me on this, that the general consensus is that we're probably weak La Nina. You can kind of see it right there on this chart that they're showing, and we'll see if this loads. It's not wanting to load at the moment. But you can kind of see right there how this line, there we go. I think I froze all of Chrome. I don't know. Anyway, watch my mouse. You see how that green line right there kind of scrapes that blue zone? That blue zone is a La Nina state. And if you want a halfway decent winter here in DC, we tend to do okay with moderate La Ninas. It's strong and it's weak that don't tend to do. Last year was a weak La Nina. You saw how we did. There we go. Just kill it. Ah, no, that's not what I wanted. All right, refresh. Well, anyway, you saw my. Okay. Thank you. All right. You saw how it was just kind of scraping. So that puts us in a weak La Nina state. That is. Get back into this again. So weak La Nina is. Oh, I see one. So weak La Nina is this one right here. Average temperatures above normal. So normally we're right here on the dotted line. I just drew that terribly. Normally we're right there on the dotted line. You can see that the average temperature is about, a degree and a half or so, right around a degree above normal in a typical weak La Nina winter, which is, it doesn't sound like much. 1 degree above normal doesn't sound like much. What's up, Kev? But it makes a huge difference in a winter if you're 1 degree above normal. It just is. See, moderate La Nina now tends to be at or below normal, so that would be awesome for snow, because the first ingredient for snow is getting temperatures cold enough. Going back to what we typically see in terms of precipitation, weak La Nina, there it is again, you see it right there, tends to be below normal precipitation. In fact, of all the La Ninas, it tends to be the worst. And that just doesn't tend to bear well for snow. There are certain tiers to total snowfall for the typical La Nina winter, 10.9 inches of snow on average in DC. We typically average 15.5 inches. So that gives you an idea of why they're kind of leaning towards a less productive winter. These are the types of winters, in my opinion, where we tend to do a lot of these mixed storms, kind of like the March storm from last year. We mixed out. Some of our suburbs to the west do well, and I do think the mountains and the ski season, I think, is going to be okay across the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic zone. I think we're in for an all right kind of ski season here, but I'm not too confident that this is going to be the year of the blizzard. I think it's coming in the years ahead just based on solar cycles. I don't have time to sit here and explain why. But solar cycles suggest to me that we do have some colder winters coming, and we're going to have the opportunity for more snow. But I'm not from everything I've done, and I've started looking at it, I just haven't had time to write it yet, but from all the research I've done so far, I don't see anything jumping out to me as this is the year of, Snowmageddon 2.0. That's not to say that I haven't been wrong before. Obviously, look at last year. I thought last year, because we were still weak La Nina last year, but I had other climate signals saying that it was going to be a pretty good winter snowfall-wise, but they just never kind of turned out. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to try and do better than last year, but we'll hope for the best. That's all we can do. I'm a snow lover, so I would love it to snow, but right now I'm not seeing that. I still have more research to do. We'll see if I can find anything to give us a little bit more snow. Other than that, guys, that's kind of all I have for the day. It's quiet. Enjoy the weather while it lasts. For every week of sunshine we have, somewhere down the line we're going to have a week of rain. And given our luck, or given my luck, it'll probably be a week of rain and Christmas instead of snow, which would be rather unfortunate. All right, guys, that's all I have. Again, one more shout out. Let's end with this kid, because he's just absolutely incredible to me. One more shout out to this kid, Tomas Flips. Tomas M. Flips is his Instagram. Again, he's just an incredible gymnast. It was an honor to meet him. Look at that. I mean, come on. Who else can do that? I'll give someone else, aside from Tomas, because we know we can. I'll give someone else $20. They can do that. Offers up on the table. All right, guys, that's all I got. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you again tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow may be the last one of the week, because I got to do the early shows. I got to do all the morning shows on Thursday and Friday, so it's going to be troublesome for me to do 8 hours of TV and then run down here and do a half hour of this, but I'll try. Other than that, guys, take care. Molly's coming up here in just a few minutes, so if you're waiting for Molly to start, she will be here momentarily. She'll give you the latest news and headlines. Other than that, have a great Tuesday. Enjoy the fall weather, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.